podcast excellence since 2005. This is the King of Podcasts radio network, kingofpodcasts.com.
Cuffing season has been around for as long as I've been dating, but now we have to deal with simps and sugar babies. Let's talk about it.
We are all a little depraved and debaucherous. Here is the King of Podcasts.
Cuffing season is here. We're in the middle of September, and yes, when the leaves start to change, fall comes in. When it gets a little colder outside, we know that it's been very natural for women to go ahead and start looking at, well, the summer's over. I've gone out and done my vacationing. I've, gone out and seen the world, and, I'm not wearing bikinis, and I'm not going out and sightseeing, clout chasing, status seeking, all that stuff. I want to go ahead and enjoy the holidays coming up. I want to make sure that I have somebody that's going to be there to take me out when I go ahead and slut it up on Halloween. Somebody needs to be there for me to go ahead and take me to Thanksgiving dinner, to buy me Christmas gifts, and to kiss when the ball drops on New Year's Eve, and take me out for a wonderful filled Valentine's Day dinner, soiree, spa treatment, whatever it is. That's what women think about right now for the next 6 months. So, of course, there are modern women that are going to just say, well, I want to do it myself. I don't need a man for all these things. But they'll take advantage of a man that offers it to them. But we still know that there are women out there that still want to be pampered in this way without giving anything in return. Let's just make that clear. And as long as cuffing season is still a thing, now these new crop of modern women that, the alpha males in the red pill society continue to talk about, the OnlyFans models, the influencers out there that look beautiful. And for many guys, they might be a fantasy to be with. But with some of these guys that are becoming influencers themselves, and they have figured out a way to become successful and maybe get to the point of being an influencer that they'll do some crazy stuff just for attention. Well, they also, with the attention, want the women that come with it. The money, the women, all the things that come along. That's why they do it. Because there's something about getting that certain level. And we know there are a bunch of guys out there that are simps. Okay? Simps have become something that was not much of a topic only about a couple of years ago. Like I said, maybe about 5 years ago is when we started hearing the word simp. Because in TikTok Nation, we heard about Simp Nation. And we talked about that when I was doing When I'm Not Podcasting back in the day. Well, it continues now. Now, cuffing season, I think about like this. And I'm going to give you a story of my own where I definitely was simping. So I remember in college, it was my junior year. And I remember in particular, there was an anthropology course that I was struggling in because I couldn't get, there were two different professors to go to at FAU to learn about anthropology. And unfortunately, I picked a professor because I had to get the class in. It was part of my core curriculum. And it wasn't anything really interesting to me, and I wasn't really good at studying it. And the Professor Lowe, wasn't much good at it at all anyway. They just make that clear. But at the time, I remember there was that, and also I think there was a lab that go along with it. So we had a 3-credit course and the lab that had to go along with it to learn about certain things of the anthropology, digging up an excavation and all that. And I remember there was a girl that, I'm trying to remember where it was that I met her at, but it was in West Palm. And I just happened to see her. I don't know where it was, but it was, I think it was at a club. Her name was Denise. Black girl. Beautiful. Natural hair. And I only got to ran into her twice, but I got her phone number. And that was my one thing was that if I'm going to hit on a girl, if I get the phone number, then I think she's interested in me. Well, in those days, that's what I thought. And I remember I fantasized about her. I simped over her badly. And there were times I would just try to call. Oh, no, I'm doing work and this and that. I'm doing whatever. Like, I'm busy. I can't talk right now. And I was always like just trying to find the time just to go and get together with her. And I remember there was one day where I was so caught up with her and I had a final exam to go and take. I remember during the middle of the exam, I stopped to go to a payphone to try to call her, to see if I could find a way to get to her and answer the phone. Because I wanted to hear from her. Because I was going to bed thinking about her. I was infatuated. It was a crush of which she had no interest in me whatsoever. And I remember doing that. I'm like, man, so stupid. I still remember another girl, same way. I don't remember her name. But I remember I went on a dating site. I think it was Yahoo Personals, I want to say, back at that time. I'm in West Palm Beach, and this girl is up in Port St. Lucie. Now, for whatever it was, I decided to go ahead and meet up with her the next day. I think it was because of like Saturdays. It was right. It's like Friday, Saturday. I said, I'll go up there and go visit her. I didn't tell her to come meet me halfway, nothing like that. To go to meet her in Port St. Lucie, which is an hour away. And I decided to go late at night. And so Saturday night, I go up there and I meet up with her. And I remember we were going to go to a couple places just to go hang out. We had dinner, and I remember we were going to go to a bar. And I was like, what's the next place to go to in town that's open late? So we went to the Ale House, a bar. And that was open till 1 a.m. But, you know, it's kind of like the last calls at 1 a.m. and that's it. And people would hang out in the parking lot and all hang out, whatever, all these younger kids. And I remember it was with her, and I remember I had my pickup truck. I had a white S10 Chevy pickup. And I remember with this girl, and she was tall, American girl, white, curly, middle-length hair, like down to the shoulders. There's nobody I can even compare her to. But the thing was, like, she was very sweet and just, I don't know. What I didn't realize was I was going to try to take her somewhere to go, like, you know, screw around that night. Like, I wanted to try to find a hotel up there, but I was like, it was tough to get all that done. And I was like, you know, I couldn't find any place else to go. I was like, well, we'll get together again. And what I didn't realize is that should have been a one-night stand. Because that same night, I was making out with her in the parking lot. And, you know, kissing got hot and heavy. And I was like, well, I'm enjoying myself. I wish I could take this girl somewhere else, take her to bed. But we couldn't get that to happen. Whatever it was. And then I remember I was really interested in her. Again, simping on another level. I'm not ashamed to say it. I did this. But I remember she and I talked again on the phone because we had met online and then we got the phone numbers. We swapped phone numbers. I was the one always calling her. And I got to learn a few things about her. I knew that she worked at a counter, one of the little kiosks in the mall up there, the Treasure Coast Square Mall. And I remember for whatever reason I decided to do it, I had a big thing about sending flowers. And so I ordered flowers. I think I called 1-800-FLOWERS, and I had flowers, like 12 red roses. I sent them up there to her with a nice note, thinking about her, all this and that. I don't think I said I loved her or anything like that, but that's when I already knew. I didn't know it, but the truth was that I did that, and all of a sudden, she just got quiet on me, silent treatment. And she was already kind of giving me the cold shoulder. I wasn't paying attention to it. I was just like, that one night was so good. And like I said, I'm a guy that never had a serious relationship. So like these moments, just to have that, something fresh like that going on over a couple weeks, that was the thing. This was during cuffing season. Because remember, it was just starting to get cold outside. It was October that I met her. And then we get closer to Christmas. And then finally, I try to call her. She's just dodging my calls. And then one day, or there would be one night, I decided to call like Christmas Eve, or I think it was Christmas Eve. And I call her thinking she can't be working. She's got to be available. Some guy answers. And then he tells me this is her boyfriend. Oh. So I should have known, and I figured it out by then. Okay. So she had a boyfriend the whole time. I guess she wanted to fool around for whatever reason. And I never really took an idea or got a clue as to what was the reason why. But I mean, the older me now would have told myself, stop it. She's not worth it. She's too far away. It was one night. You couldn't get much farther with her. Don't worry about her. Move on. Move on to the next girl. I didn't listen to myself. I wish I would have told myself then. Oh man, let me tell you, if all the times that I simped during cuffing season, if I would have taught myself that, because again, it was the fall semester in anthropology where I didn't do well in that course. I remember taking it again because I didn't pass it. And that was because my mind was caught up on her, on Denise. Mistake. beautiful girl, but like she didn't want me. And I think it was one night I saw her and I was like locked in. Like it was a night that was fun and I was enjoying myself and I wanted more. And when I was desperate to have that, I would really push on that. I can only imagine. This was just with dating apps. This was just with dating websites, by the way, and phone calls, and that's it. Because we had cell phones by then. And we would all wait till after 9 o'clock to go and call. But now social media amplifies it much more. And cuffing season is so much more a thing now to the fact that women know about it and they target cuffing season to target guys to date. We know that. But we know it's done differently now, more than ever. So from the website Body and Soul, they talked about back in July, this is an Australian website, by the way, they said for their winter season, their cuffing season, they talked about that forget cuffing season, you should embrace culling season. And so in Australia, obviously, their feelings are all a bunch different anyway because of their winter climate and all. So they discussed culling season. Instead of locking someone down just for the sake of having someone, people use the time to reevaluate their connections. So culling season is a chance for intentional reflection, growth, and most importantly, shredding relationships that no longer serve our best interests. So ending a friendship, getting rid of a client, or saying no to a situationship who leaves you on scene for days. And so they talked to the FemCon founder, and I'm looking for the name right now, Chiquita Searle, a movement dedicated to women's empowerment and happiness. That picking up a partner just to have someone to hibernate with could be doing more harm than good. That's what she's saying about this here. It's about choosing yourself, she says. It's about acknowledging yourself in your body and going, this doesn't make me feel good and I deserve more than this. Because you get what you tolerate. People will treat you the way you treat yourself, she says. So if you decide that you're not worthy, then you're going to attract people who also believe you're not worthy. But cuffing season is just meant to be a means to an end. It's trying to satisfy the pampering, the attention, the loneliness that comes along with women without relationships, and fulfillment of said relationships. So cuffing season, she might go ahead and use this in a completely opposite manner, in an opposite mindset. But cuffing season doesn't have nothing to do with that. It's taking advantage of guys to fulfill their needs during the holiday season. Okay? Because the girlfriends will also be doing the same thing. They will be going along and finding their own relationships for cuffing season, for the most part. Because the holiday season, you want to have something there. Many women might not be attached so much to their families or do anything with their families to that point. Or they need to go and show, oh yeah, see, you're beautiful, you're young, you're active, you're all this, you should have a good boy with yourself. You should have a good boy that's going out with you or somebody else, right? But that's the part that women are not necessarily taking a mindset to what other people are saying that, oh, you should be with somebody really good for you. No. In cuffing season, it's to do this. To get in and get out. It's not guys that are getting into cuffing season. We just forget about the fact that it is cuffing season. And that we are the possible mates out there to be considered. And I've said this before on previous episodes. I've said this on last year's episode. Because cuffing season comes around the same time around October. I just got to it now. But I'm telling you, guys, I will repeat this again. You will notice a difference when it gets a little bit cooler outside. So like for me in Florida, I know for a fact that, the weather's not going to change until about October 15th. Between then and Halloween. When we start seeing that change where it gets a little bit nippier at night and, when the sun goes down, we can get down to 60 degrees and maybe a girl might want to even put on a jacket or a hoodie. Something changes in the mindset. It just happens. And women will start paying attention more to guys when it gets colder outside. When the leaves are changing right now, wherever you are, New York, LA, Seattle, Chicago, wherever you are listening to this program, when it gets colder where you are, if it's the United States especially, you should notice the attention that you get from women much differently than you get. Something about the fact that when women are not out there to objectify themselves, like OnlyFans models, wear bikinis, wear whatever they want, show skin, and they have to start bundling up. There's an insecurity that comes in for a girl that has to go and throw on a sweater or a hoodie because the hoodie or the sweater or the jeans or the whatever they're going to wear, if it's a little bit baggy, they look a little bit fat, they feel a little insecure about how they look because they can't show and flaunt their bodies because it's too cold to flaunt. So the insecurity makes it feel like they need to have somebody to empower them, to re-encourage them, to boost their ego, to keep them feeling like they're still pretty and beautiful. They need validation. Because cuffing season, not culling season, forget about that. Cuffing season is much more about validation for the woman when she can't show herself the way she wants to feel. It's the way I look at it. It's the way I've seen it for years. And I notice that more and more. Plus, for me, I feel like it's a better chance if I prefer to find women that are a little bit heavier, because I've always liked a chubbier girl myself. You know, the chubby chasing gets a little bit easier because for me, I feel like a woman that's a little bit bigger that also feels like she needs to cover up will also want to feel that validation more and more. And I think my best possible dating, I used to always think, was right before my birthday, November 25th. All the time, I would get caught up into some kind of cuffing season scenario. And it happened almost like every year, like clockwork. Somewhere when college season, when college starts, when school starts, all that going on, when everything just changes, the summer just changes and everything just goes different, you know? Can't go to the pool anymore. Can't go to the beach, you know, and go swim in there anymore. It's not summertime. Not doing summertime things anymore. Just changes up. Pumpkin spices everywhere, you know, and people are getting ready for holiday stuff, whichever holiday they want to do. People get up and early for Halloween or Christmas or whatever they want. And it changes. And then you see more people going to the mall because they might have abandoned it for a little while. And you go see more of that. You might see people that are, you know, out shopping because, like, you know, back to school, whatever is going on. But there's a moment where the interactions for guys and gals become more intense. And you start noticing, guys, I'm telling you, you got to watch yourself. There are women that will start looking at you a little bit more. They might smile at you a little bit more. They might talk to you a little bit more. They might be enticed and be encouraging you to take them out on a date. But we're in a society right now where in social media, some of the guys that guys are looking up to, okay, it could be the red pill folks. It could be the alpha males. It could be these influencers, right? Jinxie, Sketch, Kai Cenat, all these. And what are they doing? They get themselves surrounding with different women. And without the money, without the clout that they have, they're dressed like, you know, kind of schmucks, Aiden Ross, right? I'm not judging them. They just kind of just dress like they do. They're dressed like they're gamers at home. They're doing their content from home. iShowSpeed, all these different guys, right? And I'll look at them and I'm saying, you know, if they do find somebody that they're with, it is from the success that they have. And then if there's something about where a woman who's an OnlyFans model or a model or an influencer, Instagram influencer themselves decide to get together, it's like a celebrity couple. It's just contrived. And it's simping at the highest level. We know that too. So Reddit had a great point about this, and this was only about 6 months ago. They talk about this, that there's simping out there. So I take from Reddit the purple pill debate. But there are lots of men who walk around like they're alphas, are putting up a mask in the front in the hopes that women would give them a crumb of attention, are simps because they act the way they do for female approval. This also applies to red pill men, the manosphere, and any men of the like. This is from a woman obviously named K. Ray, 1994. She goes on to say, but I'm not saying masculinity equals simping. I'm saying that being alpha equals simping. I'm saying if you have to project that image because you want a woman's attention or you want women's approval, you're no different than a simp. I don't disagree with that. I think trying to go ahead and present that you're alpha, some kind of idea that there is. I mean, you either have the testosterone and you're masculine and you're naturally a guy, right? I mean, listen, during cuffing season, the other thing that we have out here, and what I'm sure women will pay attention to, is the fact that a lot of guys are paying attention to football. football season starts right now. Totally into it. And one of the things that that's nice for me is the fact that I enjoy football. I enjoy hanging out with the guys. And for the most part, the group of guys I'm with, they're single. A couple of them are married, but they've been married for a long time. And, we just kind of go along and we hang out, watch the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay. I'm a FEU alumnus, Florida Atlantic University. I go to the football games for season tickets, right? And we go. And, while I might be going to a bar that's got a whole bunch of waitresses that are chicks or chicks that are like hanging around the bar anyway, or I go to the football games and I see these beautiful students, all these girls that are going to the games right now. The student section gets loaded with women. It's like, let me go back to being a freshman in college again. It's like I always said to myself, if I could take myself back in time to correct, knowing what I knew now, I'd always say, let me go back to freshman year in college. Take me back to the first day as a freshman. And I would excel. Not go back to high school, not go back to before that. Don't need that. Get me to where I am right now at FAU. And let me use what I know now to succeed. Because I think I would do so well with that case. Now, going along with this Reddit post, they say, but these men are mean to women. Simps love them. Simps eventually become incels because simping takes them nowhere. They already have the same idea and the same image of who women are and their role as red pill men with a mask in the front and a manosphere to begin with, i.e. the woman is a prize to be won. She's the object first and foremost. Yes, simping exactly like that because you feel like you're getting a trophy girl. And these OnlyFans models, worst examples of that. Now, as you know with myself, I'm one of the few people that probably talk on a program here, Depraved and Debaucherous, that makes a thing about tattoos and ink. That I'm not attracted to it. Now, plenty of guys are. Most guys are. Let's just say it like that. And that's okay. I understand that. And I'm definitely in the minority. But there's something to be said about a trophy girl to me, if I was simping, is a girl that doesn't have to go ahead and, need to do anything to her body to make her beautiful. Their natural beauty, the way she's blessed with beauty and youth, that's what I appreciate. So catching them before they get caught up and feeling like, in some cases where I think tattoos are an indicator of psychological, physical, mental, emotional trauma. Maybe not all of it, but I think some women might do that in terms of where they don't feel like their bodies warrant to be naked. They just don't want to go ahead and have their bodies open with emotional wounds, that they feel like they're being seen. So they have to cover them up. And that's okay. I'm not one to go ahead and say anything about that. People can't say anything at all about it, but that's okay. So replies to this Reddit comment was the fact that any man that has to loudly proclaim he's an alpha is probably not. I tend to agree. I think true alphas, I hate this dumb term, are just confident, capable, attractive men who just effortlessly display masculinity in a way that's appealing to women and command respect from other men. Now, on the other side of the argument, we talked about the guys like Leo DiCaprio. I brought that up last week. And the kind of woman he commands because of his success and because he fits the role of a man who's a catch for a woman, especially a young woman, because he only dates young. But the part of him is that at the same time, I'd almost go ahead and ask myself, at what point does he get together with some young thing, celebrity, model, whatever? At what point do they get together? At what point do they break up? And I wouldn't be surprised if there's something about the saying of that Leo DiCaprio does catch himself in love during cuffing season, during the fall. And then more times than not, after Valentine's Day, somewhere in the spring, he breaks out. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. If somebody wants to go and take a look at that and just see what their exact dates are, I don't think anybody can figure that out, but I would almost take that theory to test. Another person writes that I'm of the thought that these people barely exist outside of viral videos on the internet, like all the TikTokers supposedly going around harassing people in public. If they do, they probably live in specific cities and areas in the U.S. and Canada, only to go to popular bars and clubs. If they aren't just bedroom warriors typing up nonsense about masculinity and YouTube comments. But like I said, there are those out there that are looking up to these keyboard words, as this person says. The fact that some of them might follow along with the alpha male red pill mindset, Or they might look up to one of these influencers that I mentioned already, that they might say to themselves, oh yeah, this guy is able to go and catch this girl. So Jinxie and Brecky Hill, that's a new thing that's going on right now they're talking about. And I'm like, they make a big deal of the fact that he was with this girl who's a very beautiful girl. I don't know if they're in the same set together where they feel like they should feel like they make sense to each other. I don't know. But right now, there's a whole deal about that. Now, Sports Kid actually talked about this. So when you look at the two, okay, Jinxie, very much your typical internet influencer. Nerdy. Most people would probably look at face value and say, well, he's not somebody that would be able to get a blonde, dark-eyed girl with, just has the looks and can look good at anything. So Nicholas Jinxie is a Twitch streamer and a Rainbow Six Siege player, and he broke up with Brecky Hill, who's a model and I think influencer, this and that. They started dating in early 2024 around February. Interesting, so this is not during cuffing season, but either which way. Jinxie claims that he had been stalking other girls on social media, and Hill found out, resulting in their latest breakup. And September 8, 2024, Brecky Hill took to her TikTok account to post a rather cryptic video and said that she is currently single. Interesting, she added that she was asked not to share the reasons behind her breakup with Jinxie, but also it's happening on September 8th, which is right around cuffing season. She says, I am single. I have been asked not to speak on the situation of what happened, but out of respect for Jinxie, I will keep my mouth shut. But yeah, I am single, and this is not a bait. And so he is stalking other girls online. Stupid. Very stupid. He says that there were a couple instances where I was stalking other people on social media, like other girls, and Brecky found out about it. And that broke her heart, which broke my heart because I don't want to hurt somebody that cares about me. Bullshit, because then why would you go and do it in the first place? And just to give you an idea of who Jinxie is, let's go and play a clip from him on X where he talks about his breakup with Brecky Hill and how he was stalking other girls on social media and had a porn addiction.
Not only just like that, but like, there was a couple instances where I was like stalking other people on social media, like other girls, and she found out about that, and that broke her heart, which broke my heart because I don't want to hurt somebody that cares about me. And I think if I we're just being completely honest with you guys, I think watching porn and stuff like that is a very unhealthy addiction, and I didn't even realize because I was never been in a relationship before, but I had no idea the damage that could do to someone. So the advice that I would give you guys is to never if you care about, if you're in a relationship.
Okay, we don't want to hear his advice because he didn't follow his own advice. That's why he got himself caught where he's at. The bottom line is that he got a trophy girl. This is obviously someone, Brecky Hill, that a lot of guys online probably fawn over, they simp over, and she just happened to give him attention. Do I think they probably had any sex or anything like that? No, I don't think anything like that had happened at all. But it's obvious she was dragging him along. If he's still interested in porn, he can't say it on Twitch, but I can say it here on this podcast. If he's all into porn and he's looking at other girls, he's not with her. They're not boyfriend-girlfriend. There's no serious relationship at all. And I think she was only with him probably for the attention that he probably gets because he's very popular. I mean, do we honestly believe that maybe she was that much interested in him because of his Twitch streaming, because of his video gaming? I don't know. And then he goes on to say that a lot of people jump to the conclusion that I slept with another girl and I had sex with other girls. No, I never did that. I never kissed another girl. My guess is he's a virgin. And I wouldn't be surprised if he still is. She's just going along and doing their own situation. It's like there was never anything serious about it. But there are enough guys out there that will see her and say, yeah, he did get with her. And they'll have the mindset, okay, the fantasy's real. That I look like Jinxie, or I look something like him, or I'll probably look better than Jinxie, and I should be able to get a girl like Brecky Hill. Probably thinks that. But it's not without having confidence. It's not without the fact that you can't think that what you have is going to be what you provide to her is going to be enough. She's got to like you naturally. And maybe you think that she does, but I don't think there's a case of that. And that's all right too. But, you know, there are a lot of streamers out there that feel like they can get who they want, and they change, you know, they give themselves something about the fact that, I mean, for Becky Hill, this is good for her because she's getting a lot of attention because of this whole breakup. Others get the same kind of attention. Listen, when Tyler decided to go on Kai Cenat's show back in March, I think it was, or April, it was right when she was getting hot right there on the charts. Her album was about to come out. She got the attention. And then Kai Cenat wants to go and ask her out. You get a total simp move. And Kevin Hart comes on later on in subsequent episodes and gives him shit about it. And it's true because he did deserve that. But these are guys that are being like a little bit frat boys and kind of being like kind of bros, but they're also just in their own little rooms. They're not out to the bars or clubs because that thing doesn't even happen anymore. They're not going out to concerts. These guys that are influencers, they don't go out to be seen. If they're going to go out at all, they're going to have an entourage. They're going to go to some place and, you know, they're going to be treated like billionaires because of their status, because of their fame, because of their fortune. That's it. But they're not going to get anything out of that. I mean, the fact that they think that that status is going to get them any girl that they want that's going to be with them and they're going to like have a relationship, that's not going to happen. If they want to go and fuck around a little bit, go find a little bit of piece of tail, then that's what they're going to be able to get. But there's delusion with delusion. The delusion of women that think that cuffing season, they're going to be entitled and they're going to get themselves the validation and the things that they want to fulfill this year's Halloween celebration or Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's or Valentine's Day. Fuck that. Okay? Don't even get yourself caught up in that. You don't even need to. Now, there's another story that came out from the UK Standard that women are not bothered by the cuffing season anymore. So this is, again, the other side of the equation where there will be women that will still naturally be caught up in cuffing season and say, hey, you know what? I want to get together with somebody. But there's going to be plenty of girls that are going to be still feeling like this is going on here. Hot girl summer is followed by cuffing season. So now things will change. This is from Emma Lofhagen. So female talking to other female friends, she says here. And she goes on to say that she has female friends who have decided to give up on the concept altogether of cuffing season because friends who, not that it particularly matters, are smart, attractive, wonderful people, and yet who are still coming up against the brick wall that is the current leading landscape, right? Because what happens as well is that there will be quite a few women that will not put out or give anything of equal validation or interest or love or anything like that in the cuffing season. It's the guys that will do the most. Now, they take from a 2024 February Pew Research Center survey, 38% of single women are looking to date or pursue a relationship compared to 61% of single men. And then there's this voluntary celibacy movement right now for cuffing season, and the likes of Khloe Kardashian, Julia Fox, Kate Hudson, Tiffany Haddish have talked about voluntary celibacy. They say that dating apps have been universally hated, yet universally used is no secret. Yeah, don't even worry about cuffing season using the apps. It's going to happen when you're out and about, when you're actually out in person. And with it not being too hot outside, and it'll be much more pleasant to go outside, then you might go out and see yourself getting to go and be seen with other people. So the Financial Times did an analysis earlier this year that among Gen Z, the developed world's young women have rapidly become more liberal, while young men have become more conservative or been much slower to be much more progressive. So they're saying that political divide is coming across with younger people. That makes a difference. And there's also been some inspirations for women that have come across that, I mean, even I brought this up back in the spring. The feminist South Korean 4B movement, remember? For resistance against the country's outdated gender politics, that women would take the 4B pledge to not date men, engage in sexual activity with men, marry or have children, with the hashtag gaining traction around outside the country. I talked about that not too long ago. And that women now have undoubtedly have higher standards for male partners. Feminism has become so mainstream in the last decade or so, we have increasingly deemed relationships with women as incidental rather than necessary, or God forbid, a goal in their own right. There is, after all, no more cardinal sin against Gen Z than that of the pick-me girl. And sometimes I think guys will think that some of the girls they find during cuffing season will be the pick-me girl that will appreciate a guy. Well, don't give up on finding those girls. You might find those. You really might find those girls. So don't give up on that. But then again, just realize that today, more than ever, we're getting to the point where it's getting harder to go into cuffing season without getting yourself screwed over. Guys, be careful. Listen, if you find a woman that is interested in you during cuffing season and you feel like, oh, maybe something is going to happen here. Oh, this might actually work out well. Well, good. Sometimes you are going to luck out during cuffing season and during all those wonderful times of bliss. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day. If that girl's getting together with you, she shows honest romantic interest and she makes out with you and she is there and you feel like there's something really going on, then get it on. Hold on to her. Because maybe she'll go ahead and do it with you. She'll be a little depraved and debaucherous.